Sometimes a long-awaited rest does not bring the desired relief. What comes is a heavy, clinging sleep on the edge of wakefulness, where consciousness seems poised between reality and oblivion. The possible reason for such disturbed slumber are myriad. Strained nerves, perhaps, or lingering reaction to trauma. Abby emerges from the oblivion of her laden sleep like a drowned woman dragging herself up from the depths of a swamp. The wound on her chest is burning like someone pressed an invisible brand to it. The wound has closed again, but the blood stain on her shirt betrays its presence beneath. There's no time to investigate the cause behind her malaise. A trying day lies ahead, but how will Abby be up to the challenge if her thoughts are so muddled and her entire body aches like after a day's toil? No, we can't ignore Abby's health. We're gonna take care of it for sure. After several moments, the weariness abates, retreating to the depths of her subconscious, but leaving the path open to return the next time Abby seeks refuge in sleep. Abby recalls she slept peacefully in Defender's Heart. Perhaps a priest can explain what has happened. Okay. So now we can talk to somebody about that when we get back. Honestly, it's a really cool way to introduce the corruption mechanic. So I actually really like the way that they did that there. Now, we have a beer cart to find. I want to say it's either here or up here. Like, I know it's like at the edge of town. So I think we're going to try going here and then moving and seeing if there's like anything up that way. Oh, bad guys. There are bad guys here? Abby? Abby didn't even get a shot off. Okay. Oh, there was more. Whoops. Is everybody okay? Good. Glad to hear it. So happy you all are good. Okay, so is it up here? Like, I know it's on a road, and I know the road is pretty beaten up. Okay, this is where we were there. I know it's not there. Maybe it is this side of town, and I just keep forgetting. Or it's this way. Oh, no. Did I? Ah, you can go that way. Okay, back to where we were, guys. Hustle. You can do it. I believe in you. Whoops. We'll find it. Don't worry. We'll absolutely find it. Someday. I want to say I have I found it. Beer cart time. A short hooded figure is poking about some bodies lying in the middle of the street. The stranger drags the first body off the road, respectfully props it up against a wall, and places the corpse's hand on its chest. The figure then freezes, as if hesitating, and you see him reach out his hands towards the beautiful gold amulet hanging around the corpse's neck. He jerks his hand back and hesitates, then reaches out again. Hey, who are you? What are you, like, literally, what are you doing? And the stranger almost jumps out of his skin. The hood falls off from his head. Under a mop of red curls, a round halfling face looks up at you. Oh, phew. I thought you were demons. Good day to you, good lady. Sela's eyebrows lift in apparent surprise. Curl, is that you? The halfling looks at Sela and smiles. Oh, Lady Sela, you're alive. Goodness me, that's the second bit of good news on this otherwise lousy day. What was the first bit of good news? Stick around and see for yourself. Do you know this person, Sela? Meet Rimvi, better known as Curl. He hails from Canabras, and he's fighting in the Condemned. He's one of a kind, a rogue with a heart of gold. Sela smiles and then adds a little more seriously. Curl, it's probably none of my business, but you should ask yourself if what you were about to do was right. The halfling's cheeks flush, and he hides his hands behind his back. I just thought, oh, it doesn't matter. Can you tell me anything useful about what's going on in the city? I'm afraid not, good lady. I just left the Defender's Heart. Before that, I was holed up in there, too scared to leave, although spending all that time under Commander Erebeth's nose sure was something. She's a strict one. And when she gets antsy. So what are you doing here? Robbing corpses? No. The halfling protests. Rimvi Curl may be a rogue, but he doesn't loot corpses. I just need to get these poor lads' bodies off the road. My friends and I are on a terribly important mission, and we need to get He is interrupted by the sound of wheels rolling on paving stone. A cart drawn by a sad little horse appears from around the corner. A pretty half-elf is driving it, and a young man in knight's armor is walking alongside. Even from a distance, you can see his tanned face and blue eyes shining brightly. And the halfling straightens up. See? Terribly important, very heroic mission. My friends and I are saving a beer cart from demons. As he's speaking, the newcomer notices you. The knight cries out in jubilation. Sela! I never thought I'd see you again. I thought you were headed to the main square, the center of the demon attack. The half-elf smiles warmly at Sela. Hey, friends, glad you're all right. When we got separated by the crowd at the celebration, I knew right away that something was wrong. And when the demons appeared all of a sudden, I realized that was the reason why I'd been so anxious, but I couldn't find you among the dead in the square, so I kept my hopes up, and I was proved right. Sela's face lights up with joy. So you're the other bit of good news Krill was talking about. You and Jana are safe. Actually, by good news, I meant that we found the beer cart. Sir Aelon and Jana being alive amounts to a quarter of a bit of good news. Well, maybe half. Beer cart? How about sharing some with us? I'm sure we could all use a good drink. The half-elf winks rackishly. Certainly, give me your flask, friend, and if you walk with us to the Defender's Heart, we can have more thorough sampling of the spoils here. Despite the cheerful tone, she looks at you with anxious hope. Jana, there's no need. The heart is very close, and the three of us will be enough to fight off an attack if there is one. Besides, our friend here surely has better things to do. More important than carrying barrels of beer, I'd wager. By the way, my name is Aelon, Sir Aelon of the Houndhearts. I'm glad to meet someone who survived this madness. Are you aware? Oh no. You haven't told me how you know Sela. I'll save that story till we're back at the Defender's Heart, where you're going back there, aren't you? We'll have a reason to toast to our spoil. So long. I'm sure we'll meet again, either in the city or at Defender's Heart. Sure you will. Come to the tavern. We'll celebrate the valiant rescue of this barrel together. Still no commentary from any... I've forgotten. I guess nobody has commentary. That's kind of sad, actually. All right. So, I believe that... Is this an exit up here? I think it's so funny. So what do you... Okay, so there was a citrine necklace. I think it's so funny. I think I mentioned this last time, though. That, like, you can yell at Curl for robbing a corpse, and then you yourself just get to go and rob the corpse. It's kind of funny. No. I'm gonna... Honestly, we're gonna leave it. Because it's just the point. I know I can make cash off of it, but at the same time... It just doesn't seem like a good idea, you know? Okay. So we have... What do we have left to do? We're gonna go... go finish this. Then we've got Stay of Execution. So this happens at Defender's Heart. We'll see when that happens. Halrin, so that... We still have more. I know that there's another set. We might need Woljif for that, but I'm not sure. Great Garrison as well. Fortified... Okay. And then Tower of Estrad and the Guaram family secrets. Okay. So we're gonna need Camellia. We also have to go do this soon. I guess let's first head back to Defender's Heart. We'll sleep at home. We'll do the quest to talk to like the priest and all that other stuff. And then we'll also talk to people because I don't think we've really had a chance to talk to people. And then we might switch out Sela for maybe Woljif. And we'll go do the Woljif quest first. Or we'll do the Camellia one first. We'll kind of see where we get to. But that's kind of what I'm thinking is doing those two next just to kind of get that out of the way. Do. I forgot, like, it starts to get kind of, like, more and more lively. The more time you spend, like, here and, like, as you build it up. It's kind of cool, actually. So, can you see? So there's, like, I don't see, outside at least. What's his name? Halrin. Is Halrin inside? I never actually looked for Halrin. Okay. First. Is it gonna force the cutscene? Yes. Okay. The Defender's Heart greets you with unexpected liveliness. Beyond the walls of the tavern, the once bustling and festive city lies in ruins, but somehow none of that can be felt within these walls. The people in the room are talking, laughing, raising toasts, even softly singing. It doesn't look like the typical tavern tavern revelry, but nor is it the grim vigilance of recent days. Seela waves at you. She's sitting at a table with the trio you met previously, the knight, the half-elf, and the red-headed halfling. Abby, come! Let me properly introduce you to Aelon, Jonna, and Curl, the fearless warriors of the League of the Inspiring Cart. Seela pushes a mug of beer towards you and speaks softly. It was me who convinced Erebeth to use what Jonna, Curl, and Aelon found for a little party. If you look out the window, you might think the end of times have come and the abyss has devoured us all. I thought some simple pleasures, good food, and good company could keep the gloom at bay. Seela looks at you hesitantly, as if trying to gauge your reaction. Have you ever turned down merrymaking and good company? Let's raise our mugs, my friends. Honestly, I do think it's a good idea. Like, I think people need to take their mind off of things, and you can't be all doom and gloom or else you'll forget what you're fighting for, you know? Wait, I'm not ready for another toast yet. It's not every day that I drink with paladins, knights, and sword lords. Hey, are we just gonna sit here with grim faces? I say we get to know one another a little better. We have better reasons to toast. So tell me about you and your order, Aelon. As story goes, it's not very entertaining. I was born to the far south in Endurin. I lost my parents early, led the life of a simple mercenary, but I often questioned the path I had chosen. I'm proud of my sword skills, I enjoy training and drills, and I'm not afraid of battle. But risking my life for coin? It takes a special mindset to choose that lot with no regret. You have to want to risk your blood. I saw too many of my friends die, and I wondered if it was worth it. So in the end, I decided to choose another path. Now if I'm going to lay down my life, at least it'll be for a good cause. That's how I ended up in Mendev and became a squire for the Houndhearts. It's a small order. By tradition, it never has more than 12 members, and a new member is only knighted after one of the elders dies. We patrol the land along the Wardstone line and provide aid to travelers and settlers. Unfortunately, death is common among the Houndhearts. I became a full knight 2 years ago after laying my mentor to rest, but I'm content with my choice. My place is among the Crusaders. So, have you been serving the Eagle Watch for long, Jonna? I signed up 4 days before the demon attack. Am I lucky or what? Jonna lets out an overly boisterous laugh. I'm an apprentice for a famous fencing master from Mivon? And I learned a thing or two from him. Believe me, I soon got bored of fighting off bandits and getting involved in petty squabbles of the bickering river kingdoms. I wanted a proper challenge, and you can't find a better place than Mendev. And what do you know? The moment I arrived, the demonic invasion began. My father would say that's no accident. Fate brought me here. And what about you, Curl? How'd you end up among the condemned? I just did what everyone else was doing. I grew up in the slums where everyone stole a little or maybe smuggled or guarded stashes, so... Curl stares gloomily into his mug. But I never killed anybody, and I never did anything real bad. I got caught stealing, and when they made me choose between prison and the condemned, well, of course I didn't want to go to prison. I'm not that good of a fighter, but as Norgerberger is my witness, a thief can also be useful in a war against demons. I've always been a good scout. I can sneak under the nose of any monster. But I don't know where my friends are now. We got separated when the demons rampaged through the city. Chin up, friend. Whoever you were in the past, you're our friend now, and a crusader. Your skills will be useful to us, you'll see. She's so nice. How do you all know Seela? I met my noble sister on the road to Canabras. I was returning from the south with my fiancé and was happy to be in the company of a paladin of Iomade. We said our farewells at the city gates, and I went north along the road to Dresden to my order's camp. His face grows grim at the mention of the camp. The demons attacked us there at the same time they struck Canabras, but we managed to fight them off. We hurried to the city's aid and joined forces with the Eagle's Watch. All my fellow Houndhearts were wounded during the battle on the street. I'm the last knight of my order who can still fight. Oh, it's good to see Seela again. Every loyal heart counts these days. I met Seela at a tavern in Canabras before the attack, of course. She was one of the few who would sit at a table with the condemned. Knights usually don't even look at us, but Seela's different. I knew it the moment I saw her. That's what made me notice Seela too. So I sat down to talk to her. Never understood why everyone treated the condemned so horribly. I still don't. Our Curl is a great lad, so after that night, Seela and I went round to the taverns together every day. Mendev is an amazing place. People from all over the world come here for glory, redemption, or to help those in trouble. And they always find each other. This might not be the best place in the world to find like-minded people and friends. That was a toast, in case you didn't notice. So Seela, did you call me over, or... Oh, Seela, did you call me over just because, or was something the matter? I didn't want anybody to talk about today's celebration. I didn't just want to talk about today's celebration. You see, Aelon is in trouble. I want to help him, and I don't know anyone else in the city I can turn to. His fellow knights were wounded in battle. Aelon shakes his head. Bad idea, sister. I told you. I don't want to bother anyone else with my problems. I need to handle them on my own. Come on, hiding your sadness from your friends is no way to live. Tell me more. The young knight shakes his head. In all truth, I do not wish to impose. My problems are just minor squabbles. A paladin of Iomedae and her friend certainly have more important things to do, especially now that Knabris has been overrun by demons. If I've learned anything in life, it's that there's nothing minor about good and evil. Sela begins seriously, and then a smile lights her face. Take the three of you, for example. It seems like all you did was save one cart from some lesser demons. But look how many people are happy now. That feat will never be sung of in songs. But who knows, maybe thanks to this one joyous hour of peace and rest, the defenders of Knabris will find strength to protect the city. Sela catches her breath. I talk too much, don't I? Well, Sir Aelon, I want to help you, and my reputation as a holy warrior of Iomedae won't suffer if it's more of a minor adventure than a glorious feat. The knight sighs and seems a little embarrassed. All right, I'll explain. The life of a crusader has given me more than just purpose and a chance to serve a righteous cause. When I abandoned the life of a mercenary, I came to Mendev, gained something else I never expected. It's here that I met, may all the ladies here forgive me, the finest girl in all the world. It's a miracle she found any love in her own heart for a bungler like me, but I'm not about to let this miracle go. Not even the demon lord Discari and all his demon armies can stand in my way. Luckily, my beloved is now safely away from Knabris. For half a year, I've been getting up the courage to propose to her. I even ordered a ring from Derek Sunhammer, the best jeweler in Mendev. Independent knightly orders live mostly off donations, and I'm not what you would call rich, but I so want to make Kiana happy. Oh, it took me 3 months to find a jewel the same shade as her eyes, and twice that long to scrape together enough money. Master Derek's work was worth it, but I lost the ring during the demon attack, and I'll probably never find a worthy replacement. The ring is most likely still at the Houndhearts camp outside the city. Aelon and his friends didn't have time to pack their camp. First demons ambushed them, then they rushed off to help Knabris. I think we should at least go there, check it out. Not right now, of course, but once the situation in the city is under control. Yeah, no, I'll help, absolutely. We're not gonna stand in the way of true love. Sela puts her hand on your shoulder. Thanks for agreeing to help. Aelon's a good man and a true knight. I think the world should repay those who are so devoted to doing good. Let's help him so he can propose to his beloved the way he wanted to. Sela, I hope you can convince Erebeth to let me go with you when you do this. I don't want to be parted from my friends. Of course, the League of Inspiring Card has come together in this dark hour and we must continue onwards together. That it must. What an inspiring card. All right, listen. We've got so many people to talk to. As I was reading through that, I was realizing we have like literally talked to nobody. So let's get started. Anevia in her muted colors blends almost perfectly into the background. She appears relaxed, but her seemingly unfocused eyes are taking in everything around her, tracking and filtering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers on her hip near her weapon sheath. She shows no signs of her injuries and confidently leans on her previously broken leg. She pretends to have just noticed you even though she watched you approach from afar. Oh, hey! See how they patched me up? Now I can run, jump, or dance a jig if I feel like it. Are there any suspicious places I should pay attention to in the city? There were a couple spots I want to check out, but I didn't have the time. If there really is a den of cultists there, it'd be good if you could swoop in and bust some heads. You don't even need a search warrant. And Evia shoots you a crooked smile. First one is Silk and Threads. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric, but they always seem oh so busy. They're busy with something and they're all right, but sewing it ain't. Second one is an alchemy shop, Topaz Solutions. They trade in everything, not just healing potions. Judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going on down in that place. Okay, I gotta go. Watch yourself. So there we go. So we got those two quests. This is the priest we gotta talk to. Look at this, checking this all off our list. A stout old man with a fuzzy gray beard mumbles a prayer. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tavern, but determination is stamped on his haggard face. What can I do for you? Whenever I sleep outside the walls of Defender's Heart, I'm plagued by a terrible, terrible dream. Can you help me? The priest studies your face carefully. You look tired, but otherwise entirely healthy. If we were anywhere else, I would simply tell you to get some rest, but we're on the border of the world wound, and I'm all too aware of what's happening to you. As you know, the wound is a rift between Glorian and the Abyss, and all the evil that feeds the Abyss does the opposite in our world. It feeds on Glorian. So it is that even when we cannot see demons near us, our ultimate foe, the Abyss, is always surrounding us. Many soldiers fighting in the World Wound experience similar things. They suffer terrible nightmares, get no peace, and sometimes even lose their minds. But we are trained to help you with this affliction. By the will of Abadar, I have consecrated an altar here. The god's grace permeates the space around it, soothing one's soul and quieting thoughts during rest. So if you find your nerves are fraying, seek out a holy place like this, approach it, and the corruption will be cleansed from you. Thank you. So that's how they did that, which I actually think is a really cool way to like just add this into the lore. That this is from the World Wound and stuff like that, which is why you do need to sleep here. And I do know that like quests are kind of based off of sleeping either here or where we go next and stuff like that. So it's a really cool idea and kind of way to keep the game and the story moving without having it be just a game mechanic. Thank you for saving the esteemed citizens of Canabras. Even though not all of them deserve to be saved, may Iomade forgive my words. Erebeth casts a meaningful look at Count Arendelle sitting at a nearby table. I don't really mean that, of course. I just never fail to be astounded by the way that good people seem to perish, while the not so good prove to be incredibly, amazingly enduring. What's your problem with Darren? Is there bad blood between you? Oh no, nothing like that. I think he dislikes all paladins equally, but the real question is, who does he like? Only his hanger-ons, I'd wager. The Count has a certain reputation in Mendev. He's not a pleasant individual by any means, but he's not known for any particular villainy either. The Count enjoys a life of leisure, surrounded by a gaggle of sycophants, who are always eager to badmouth the Queen at his command. He likes settling scores too. There was a hero of the First Crusades, Sir Lant, a kind and honest man. After the end of his glorious career as a soldier, he became a wise mentor to the younger generation. He ran afoul of the Count somehow, perhaps by lecturing him about his idle lifestyle and lack of purpose. When Sir Lant died, the Count managed to buy a portion of his estate and ordered the knight's helmet to be reforged into a chamber pot. And of course, he didn't keep his little joke private. The Queen was particularly affronted by it because Sir Lant used to be her most loyal comrade in arms. I was there receiving an assignment from Her Majesty and witnessed the exact moment she found out about the helmet's fate. It's a small thing, but I could see the Queen's anguish at the travesty that had been made of her friend's legacy. That's what our Count is like as a person. And as for his talent for survival, do you know the story of Heaven's Edge? He was the only member of his family to escape with his life when the demons unleashed a magical plague at the Arendelle estate. Why was he trying to provoke the Queen? Who knows? It could be some family matter. The Count is Her Majesty's cousin twice removed or something like that. But I think he simply enjoys infuriating people. Crusaders and Iomede's servants especially. So can you tell me about Heaven's Edge? I don't know all the details. It happened a while ago, back when I was a mercenary and nothing to do with Canabras. I only know that there was a grand feast in honor of Darren's birthday, and all his relatives were invited along with a few other distinguished guests. Everyone died from mysterious disease someone had unleashed on the estate, including servants, guards, and a number of clerics and paladins. But the young Count survived because of his healing ability, I suppose? Darren does possess an unusually brilliant talent, even if the application of his skills leave much to be desired. Huh. I always think it's interesting how Erebeth, I don't feel like has ever really interacted with Darren himself and has like seen stuff that relates to him or like things that he's done, like been there when the Queen got the news of Sir Lant's helmet and stuff like that. But you don't know what that Crusader had said to Darren. You don't know what Darren had been through, and clearly Erebeth doesn't know what happened at Heaven's Edge. So it's just a really interesting, like, not secondhand, but secondhand account and opinion of Darren instead of getting to know him and seeing more about him. Thank you for telling me all this. My pleasure. I'm sorry you had to endure my grumbling. Watching these things happen to my city has put me in a foul mood. I found Jana like you asked. Yes, thank you. It's good to have her back. We need every fighter we can get. I suppose it's asking too much to want fighters that are sober as well. Pretty much. Don't ask for these kinds of things. I gotta go. Don't ask for them to be sober and here, Erebeth. That's silly. It's not at all, actually, but currently it's a little. I just noticed Kian's not making very loud footsteps right now. Lan greets you with a nod. Here for a chat? I've been waiting for you to come and see what strange beast you've taken into your party. What do you think of life on the surface? It must be very different from life underground. Of course. As far as living conditions, the surface is definitely a better place to be. It's easier to get good food and water, not to mention build a house and even grow a few things. In older, well-established settlements, you don't have to deal with anything scarier than rats or maybe foxes stealing chickens. As for the kind of lives you have, I heard a story about demon worshippers abducting a whole family and sacrificing them one by one while the others watched. But there were some brave crusader knights nearby and they killed the villains and saved everyone. And I heard another story. A young blacksmith lost his arm in a fire. Couldn't work to feed his wife and baby. They tried their best, lived from hand to mouth, but they were still destitute. In the end, the desperate blacksmith robbed a traveler one night on the road. But there were some brave crusader knights nearby, and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. Not long after, his wife smothered their baby and hanged herself. Up here, the same person can proudly say he's protecting the innocent from demons and then look the other way while the same innocent starves just because they were born into a poor family. Queen Galfrey prolongs her life with sun orchid elixirs that cost enough to feed an entire city. Back in our caves, everyone is equally poor, and if one person starves, the whole tribe starves. We don't abandon our own in times of trouble. That's the power of a tribe. The law of the surface are made so that some get everything and others get nothing. I might just be a naive fool from the caves, but I don't understand how it's possible to have so much more and share so much less. So we talked about this in depth before. So if you kind of go back, I think this is one of the first episodes of Defender's Heart. So probably like episode 4 or 5, maybe 6. And I do think that this is a really interesting way that Lan is looking at the surface, right? Just this part in particular, I heard another story. So it's like there were some brave crusader knights. They killed the villains and saved everyone. So demon worshippers abducting a whole family, sacrificing them one by one. Right. So here at this point, the crusader knights are heroes, right? They were nearby. They stopped the demon worshippers from doing what they were doing. They killed the villains, all that other stuff. Happy ending. But then here you have this blacksmith who lost his arm in a fire and he couldn't work to feed himself or his wife or his baby and so on and so forth. And it had a very tragic ending, but brave crusaders nearby and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. So it's a really interesting way to show that context matters, right? Because you hear the story of the brave crusader knights caught a robber, threw him in prison. That sounds like a great story. That's a heartwarming story of, bad guy gets caught, punished, all that other stuff. But then if you heard it from the other side, young blacksmith, he lost his arm in a fire. He couldn't feed himself and there was nobody to help him. And unfortunately, this is what he turned to as he didn't see he had another choice and there was nobody there to help him. And he was unfortunately, or I guess not unfortunately, but you know what I mean? Like he was caught, thrown in prison, and then his wife smothered their baby and hung herself kind of thing. And so when you hear from that way, it sounds like an entirely different story. First of all, it mentions nothing about the Crusader Knights when you hear it that way. Secondly, it doesn't paint the Crusader Knights as necessarily the heroes of the story. But then again, the other way does. So it's just it's an interesting play on things. I love how the writers for this game really do kind of show how there are always two sides to a coin. There's always context and stuff like that. And then Lan just kind of continues on and gives his whole perspective on everything, especially the whole Queen Galfrey and the fact that she can prolong her life with an elixir that costs enough to feed an entire city. That's a lot of money for somebody that's still fighting 100 years later, and I feel like they haven't really made much progress. You know what I mean? Anyway, look who I'm talking to. You must know life on the surface much better than I do. Yeah, I have a few, I like the chaotic response. Let's see what the other ones are. I never leave a needy person in trouble. I've given more than most, which means I'm now more able to help others. That response is a telling, not showing. And especially for my characters in particular, I prefer them to show their actions as opposed to saying them. Where there's a good response is basically you being like, no, I'm a good person. I've given to people before. Or I've been given more than most have, which means I can give to other people. So I'm a good, you know what I mean? That's kind of how that goes off. And then the lawful is we're in a struggle for our very survival against the abyss. This is no time to upend society in a quest for fairness. And I would say that when you, like, there is no good time. There is absolutely no good time to upend a society in a quest for fairness or whatever the quest is for. I mean, it's either now when we're in a fight for survival, or it'll be during the rebuilding, and then we'll be in a quote unquote peaceful time. So when is a good time? And I mean, when you're in the middle of chaos, maybe just add some more to it, I guess. I don't know. The chaotic. Yep, I have a few questions for our feckless aristocracy. And the evil is stop whining. I clawed my own way up. And anyone who can't do the same is just lazy or weak. The evil is, I don't know if I call that evil though. Like, that sounds more like somebody who's just tired of people complaining, or what they perceive as people complaining, and instead of trying to either understand the other side, or instead of thinking of a better way to help people claw their own way up, so to speak, they're kind of just like, get off my lawn kind of thing, like, I can do it, you can do it. So that's why the chaotic is my favorite. But I guess they'll have to wait until we drive the demons back into the abyss and close the world wound. Lance smiles with his strange half smile, which breaks along the border between the two sides of his face. At the end of the day, the world is still full of injustice, but also full of mad beasts ready to tear us to pieces. Thank you for your answers. We're definitely going to come back. Aha! Oh, this conversation. I hope we're ready. This conversation, I'm going to quick save, just in case it doesn't work out the way that I want. This conversation is so good.